I'm James.
I'm Matthew.
And I'm Liv.
And Series 10 has officially begun!
Yay!
Hallelujah! Doctor Who finally blasted back onto our screen Saturday night as we sat down to watch the pilot. It was lovely. We had Jammy Dodgers, Jelly Babies, and we had Coca-Cola. That was an absolutely lovely
James,
evening.
you've said it all wrong. Baby to the jelly.
Baby of the jelly and Dodgers of
the
jammies. Yes, sorry about that. Anyway, so today we are going to be doing our review of the pilot.
You said you work with idiots. I think I'm the one who works with idiots. I'm the most normal person here.
No, you don't. You're really not. Enjoy.
Matthew, you're the Nardole of this group. Enjoy. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, our first review of Doctor Who Series 10. How excited are we, ladies and gents?
Very excited.
Yes.
Indeed, yes.
Woo.
It's good to have a series of Doctor Who.
It is.
On
It
television
is.
again.
It is incredibly good. And first, right off the bat, I think we can all say that we enjoyed this episode.
Yes.
Can we safely say that, all of us?
Yeah, definitely.
I enjoyed
Yeah.
the pilot, yes.
Yeah, it was a very enjoyable episode, and for us, that is actually a feat, because for the last 3 Doctor Who episodes, we have not liked them, and we've been called negative and everything under the sun, just due to the fact that, unfortunately, there have been 3 episodes in a row that we have found just bloody terrible. So, to finally have an episode that we actually like, hopefully, this will, this will hopefully be something that you guys will like.
Indeed, yes.
Yes. So, who would like to start off with the chemistry between the Doctor and Bill that we have right off the bat?
I just want to say that I absolutely adored Bill in
Yeah.
every possible way.
Let's start
She
with...
was funny. Her chemistry was Pete worked.
Yeah.
Her lines, her acting ability. I just thought she was spot on.
We might as well start with the best part.
A breath of fresh air for me.
Yeah,
she was.
I think we can all
loved her.
agree that Bill was the best part about this episode.
Oh, definitely.
She certainly was.
Definitely.
She definitely was. She was something new and refreshing.
Yeah.
I felt like I hadn't seen anything like her before in Doctor Who. I feel like everything that everyone was saying about her being just a chav or a Rose kind of character, I didn't agree with. She didn't seem chavvy to me. She just seemed like a normal, ordinary girl. And that is something that Pearl Mackie did beautifully in her performance. She was relatable, she was new and different, and she was asking questions that companions would never normally ask.
Yeah.
And that was something new and refreshing. So if there was a word to describe Bill in this first episode, it would be refreshing.
She couldn't have been more refreshing.
Yeah.
I also think that with Bill that there's also this emotional side to her, because I picked up on rewatch that that her relationship with Inbel and her foster mum isn't great, kind of thing.
Yeah,
and then,
like it's restrained.
Yeah, it's restrained, and then the Heather thing, which was emotional for her. And just stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. That's something that I hope they explore in the future. The fact that she is a foster child.
Yeah.
And I think that would be an incredibly good story to build upon. Because I would love it. I would love it if later on in the series we get kind of like a Father's Day kind of thing where Bill for her mother, because she doesn't really remember her mother. So I would really love it if something like that happened.
And that was a lovely part in Bell. So in that episode was Inbel with the Doctor.
Yeah.
So going back in time.
Yeah.
Inbel there to take pictures.
Yeah.
Of Inbel, so of her mother for Bill.
Yeah.
That's a lovely thing to do.
And he didn't have an ulterior motive like what the 11th Doctor did with Clara. Spying on Clara as a kid, he did that to try and, see what was so special about her. And, what was actually going on with her, because there was, of course, a mystery behind her. But can we all just be so ecstatic with the fact that there is nothing special about Bill? There is something special about Bill, but not in the fact that she's the most important person in the Doctor's whole entire universe.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, exactly.
Hallelujah.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's special because she's normal. I think that's what makes her
Exactly.
special.
Exactly.
She had issues at home. She has issues in her life. She was very relatable. A breath of fresh air is exactly how I describe her.
Yeah.
She was just... I loved her in this episode so much. I also absolutely loved her chemistry with 12 because they seemed like complete opposites.
They did.
And that's exactly what I wanted, because with Clara and 12, they were too similar.
Yeah.
There wasn't a Doctor and a companion dynamic there. There was two Doctors, in a way. And with the Doctor and Bill, instantly on camera, they both look fantastic. And they're exactly what I wanted, because she's making all of these modern-day references about Netflix and movies and mind warps and all this. And 12 is absolutely bewildered by it all. He hasn't a clue what she means. So
I absolutely adore that contrast.
That is exactly what I want from a Doctor and a companion. That's the perfect companion for 12.
Yeah.
In my eyes. So I love them two together. I love Bill, and I also am really happy they explored a lot of emotions with her, because a lot of people were worried that she was just going to be this one-dimensional, ditzy, over-enthusiastic companion.
Yeah.
That would get annoying after a while.
She isn't. She's relatable. You see things from her point of view. Right from the off, you see that she has loves and fears, and she's a down-to-earth girl, and you definitely get that, and that's something that we haven't had in a while. Not with any of Stephen Moffat's previous companion tropes, which has been that companions have been the most important thing in the universe and have had this huge mystery about them, so that this is great that there is finally a companion where the companion is relatable as a human being,
yes.
And nothing more.
Yeah.
Can I just say that my favourite line from all this episode from Bill was, "Like a penguin with its arse on fire." How funny was
brilliant.
that?
That was brilliant. Just pointing out the fact that the Doctor runs funny.
Yeah.
That was absolutely brilliant. I've got to agree with Liv there. You can't top that one. Yeah, she just comes out with this quippy dialogue that feels great and it looks great, and the Doctor just seems to take it in his stride as well. He's just wondering what the hell's coming out of her mouth, and because everyone always wonders what the hell is coming out of the Doctor's mouth. No one understands what the hell he's saying.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's looking at this human being and just going, "Where the hell did we find you?" It's
I need to up my game.
Yeah, exactly. I just think that was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and another scene that I have to point out when it comes to Bill and the Doctor is the obvious, and that's when she steps into the TARDIS for the first time, because she stepped into it, and that scene was beautifully shot. It was stunning.
It was so beautiful. We've got to give it up to, what's the director?
Lawrence Goff.
Lawrence Goff. Yeah.
Yeah, when it panned out and the lights come up.
Oh, the lights.
And 12 was he was so proud of it. He was bigging it up. This is the start of a brand new life. This is the start of whatever. Yeah. And she just kept saying, "Where's the toilet?"
Yeah.
And I thought that would annoy
the
me.
gateway to
the greatest thing you've ever seen.
Ever
Something
can
like
be,
that.
or ever will be. Yeah.
And I thought that the little line she was giving would be annoying, but she kept kind of bringing it down.
Yeah.
And then when she finally said it's bigger on the inside, we all cheered.
Yeah.
Because it was like, oh wow. And the music in that scene again was
Because the
beautiful.
thing is that it's been well established that in the Doctor Who universe, Star Wars exists, Star Trek exists, all of these science fiction programs, they exist. And as we've probably known from Remembrance of the Daleks, even Doctor Who exists within Doctor Who.
Yeah.
So, it's just that Bill is probably quite desensitized to all of these amazing things. The fact that it's right in front of her, it phases her, like she is amazed by it. You can see that on her face.
Yeah.
But it's not like bewildering her. She's not overwhelmed with it. You know, she's just like, where's the toilet? I really need the toilet. You know, that kind of thing. It's just like, you know, she's not really overwhelmed with it, which I think is great because it shows that this is a person of our generation, you know, someone that, you know, watches TV and watches movies. So she knows, you know, that what she knows what spaceships look like, you know. So I think that was a great adding to her character.
Yeah, when Stephen Moffat said that she would ask the Doctor questions he's never gotten before, he was right.
Yeah,
He was
because
right.
Bill did exactly that, and I think it took the Doctor by surprise in a way, but he also kind of liked her in a way because of that. Another relatable side to Bill is her love interest being Heather. She was a focal point in the story because, of course, she gradually was taken over with the star in her eye, etc. What did we think about Heather's character at first being Bill's love interest before she obviously got taken as the passenger?
I liked it because, from my point of view, and so I felt like Bill really liked her.
Yeah.
Had this crush on her, but at first, this Heather never seen it right until the end.
Yeah.
When it was too late.
Yeah, when it was too late.
Yeah. I mean, I think Bill was such a good character right from the off and so likeable that even though Heather wasn't much of a character to see on screen, Bill kind of made us want to like her.
Yeah.
You know, that's the kind of likability we're getting from Bill. So that's what I think was really going on with Heather, was in sort of like she was kind of, you know, through Bill, we were wanting to like Heather.
We were, and obviously it was surrounding this mystery around this puddle, which I liked because it was original and it was different.
Yeah.
It wasn't something massive, it wasn't something global that, you know, could cause a catastrophe. It was something really interesting. And, you know, it did work out. It was a reason for, obviously, Heather being taken over, and it did lead into what happened after. But what I will say about the whole mystery with the puddle is it never actually went anywhere after that. We never found out who was beneath that puddle, who was behind it. So although it helped the story progress, we didn't find out what it actually was. Yeah. Maybe we will, maybe it's a part of the story arc or something, but I did kind of feel like that side of the story was left a little bit wide open. Yeah. Good concept, but it wasn't really made the most of. Does anyone agree with that?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that part of the story wasn't exactly fleshed out. But then again, I don't really think it had to be, you know? I mean, there are just certain alien happenings on Earth that I suppose the Doctor just doesn't quite catch. You know, the Doctor had something going on with that vault and, you know, his university lectures, which that scene was pretty awesome. His university lecture was brilliant. I'm going to uni soon, so I'd love to have someone like the Doctor there, just like, you're amazing. And so yeah, I just think there's just some things that the Doctor gives a miss, and you know, that's fine. You know, he's dealing with the aftermath of that spaceship leaving Earth, rather than, you know, actually, you know, having to deal with the spaceship itself. Yeah. He's dealing with the aftermath rather than during.
What do you think of the puddle?
I just felt like with this episode and the puddle, there's also no threat from it in a way.
Yeah, I mean, that was a question I did ask you guys after the episode. Was there a threat? Or did there have to be a threat? I mean,
I don't think there had to be.
I did at first like how Heather was chasing them across the universe.
I did.
The way that she was following them everywhere they went, there was something really creepy about that. Her look had a hint of the waters of Mars. The way she repeated words was very Midnight. I like how Moffat's used them different characteristics we've seen before. It made Heather's character really scary. And she was directed brilliantly. Again, I can't praise Lawrence Goff enough. And I did like how they used that and made her chase them across time and space, because it was also a good way of introducing Bill to the whole time and space concept. But on rewatch, it did feel a little bit jumpy and stoppy.
I thought that from the first go, actually, that they didn't actually need to go travelling from Australia to a far-off planet to a Dalek war. You know? Yes, that was a word that Liv used. Thank you, Liv. That was a great word to describe it. It was filler. You know, it felt like Stephen Moffat couldn't quite grasp how to further the episode. Yeah. He couldn't quite grasp how to kind of further the plot, how to make it exciting. Yeah. You know, it's like he was struggling for ways to make the episode work and to make it exciting. And it seemed like he just went, okay, just have them dash about the universe for a bit. You know, and I don't really think there was much point to any of that. That they could have easily just stayed on the university campus. Yeah. And just kept running about, you know, and stuff like that. I think that would have been a lot better. It would have been a lot more understandable. And yeah, I get it that, you know, it was helping to establish to Bill what the TARDIS can do and the lengths that it can go to, but I don't think it was needed because that's what the rest of the series is for, you know, to see that. So I don't really see why there was any need in that. It was very much filler, a lot of this episode.
I can see both sides of it because in one side I can see why Moffat has done that because it's different. I mean, every other companion has kind of discovered time travel and the concept of the TARDIS in the same way. You know, that the first episode spent on Earth like Donna's was in Partners in Crime, Martha's was in Smith and Jones, although she did go to the moon, and Rose's was in Rose, obviously. So I can see why Moffat's done it because it's a different way of doing things, and trying something different's always good.
Yeah.
But then there is the other side. What I agree with you, it would have been nice to see the Emoji Planet be the first place she's ever been, other than Earth. Thin Ice would have been the first episode, 1814, where she's ever seen the past. But Bill's the type of character who I think will still be mesmerised by it all anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't think it'll take away the magic of her seeing all these great things.
I don't think it takes away from anything,
but I definitely do
think it was filler.
I can see how it was filler. I mean, them scenes on first watch I think are fine because we're all experiencing that with Bill.
Yeah.
And we're all in that moment. But when rewatching it back, I did find that, okay, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
I know what happens. It did feel like it was filler.
Yeah.
And talking of them filler scenes, the Daleks. Let's talk about the Daleks, because I think we've all got differing, interesting opinions on them being in this.
Yeah, the Daleks had absolutely no purpose in being there. That was one thing that worried me about it, but now that I've watched it, I genuinely don't care whether or not the Daleks were actually in there. You know, I genuinely don't care. I love the Daleks. I think they're a great villain, and a lot of the time they are very much associated with Doctor Who. In fact, in a lot of people's eyes, they are what makes Doctor Who. That's what gives them their look and their identity, really. They are very much a part of the aesthetic of this show. But the fact that they were just there, and it was pretty much just one Dalek and a couple of Mavalians, if I got the name right there.
Mavellans.
Yeah. And a little callback to Destiny of the Daleks. I mean, you know, that's not exactly one of the greatest Dalek stories of all time. In fact, a lot of people would consider it to be one of the worst. So that is definitely fan service, like a really bad case of it. You know, the Mavalians are just thrown in there. Literally thrown in there. They're thrown against walls. And there's one Dalek, and that Dalek just does nothing. Pretty much does nothing. So the fact that the Daleks are just here and gone, that Stephen Moffat literally just threw them in there, that was deeply upsetting, I think, for me.
What about you, Liv? Because the Daleks are your villain.
They're my favourite villain. And every time I see them get underused and wasted, it really upsets me deep down. Because the thing with the Daleks is that the Daleks made me fall in love with the show was Dalek in series 1, and it just really upsets me that they were in this episode for no apparent reason. Yeah. I hate it so much.
Yeah. I mean, doesn't the Daleks or Dalek in this episode, doesn't that actually prove to you? Doesn't that make it harder to believe that when the BBC keeps saying, "Oh no, we don't have to put the Daleks in every year," you know, every time, because there's obviously this thing floating around that the BBC, that Doctor Who have to put the Daleks in there, otherwise they lose the rights to use them. So when the BBC call that out and they say, no, we don't have to put the Daleks in every year, doesn't it make that statement harder to believe?
Yes.
Obviously,
When you just have the Daleks thrown in there like that?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes it harder to believe that statement. You know, it makes us kind of think, yeah, it kind of looks like you're legally obliged to do this.
It's weird because you used to seem to be very frustrated by the Daleks' appearance in this, and understandably so.
I can't.
I'm not bothered.
At the end of the day, is them Daleks are my villain, my favourite villain.
That's the thing. I am not bothered because I've kind of given up on the Daleks already, and I went into this episode with no expectations of them doing much. I wasn't expecting.
Neither did I.
I wasn't expecting many of them to be there. I wasn't expecting them to do anything great.
Yeah.
So I kind of shrugged my shoulders and got past it. I'm not frustrated because. Well, that's
the
that.
Daleks not being in this much, this didn't even affect how I felt about the episode. It didn't stop me enjoying it any more, any less. But and like you, I didn't expect the Daleks to be in this episode much.
No.
And my expectations of the Daleks were just you know, if they're gonna be in there, they're gonna be in there. But at the same time, a part of my brain did just think, that's a bit of a shame. You know, that the Daleks have became this.
Exactly.
You know, they've became the cameo villains.
Oh yeah, of
what
course.
they bloody wear to now is upsetting.
Yeah, but I am also happy that they had a cameo because we'd be very contradictory of ourselves if we would be moaning about the cameo, because we have said in previews, we have said in trailer breakdowns leading up to Series 10, we want them to be in a cameo.
Yeah.
And they were, so we cannot complain in that respect.
But a good cameo.
Well,
in a way.
Is there a good and
cameo?
Yeah, I can see why maybe the cameo could have been better. I mean, I did love seeing them just blast them Novellans to hell. That was cool. And I did kind of think, whoa, okay, they've just shot a few Novellans, that's cool. But the positive I can take from this is I'd rather them be in it briefly and then go away, rather than them having an entire episode where they are yet again wasted, because it would have further damaged my opinion on the Daleks.
True.
What I can say about the pilot is it's not further damaged my opinion on the Daleks. If they'd have been in it more, it could have destroyed my opinion on the Daleks. They're just the same. I went into this episode not bothered. I've left the episode not bothered, and that's all I can really say.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about the person that I think we're all dreading talking about. The person who has more to do in the episode than the Daleks, but not by much. Ladies and gentlemen, Matt Lucas as Nardole makes his third appearance in a row in Doctor Who. As he's... he has been in the last three. And in this, I said that I'd give him a go, and I still can't really say that I hate him. I'm not going to say I hate Nardole.
No, I don't.
But the thing is that in this episode, he was Matthew described it very well. I'll give these credits. I will credit these words to Matthew.
Okay.
The definition of pointless. This character had nothing to do. He's like Jar Jar Binks in the Star Wars prequels. If you take his dialogue, and in fact him, out of this episode, you still get the same episode.
Yeah.
He did nothing. He did next to nothing for this episode. He once again has no purpose or good reason for being there other than to say funny things when the two main characters have stopped talking. He is in the background. He's in the background. He is that character that we don't care about. We don't really care whether he's there or not. But he just says funny little barbs at the end of things when someone else stops talking. The Doctor says a line, and then Nardole says something that he's scared. Like, he says something to show how scared he is. Or he says something that we think is funny. He is painfully unfunny.
Yeah.
In this episode. Painfully unfunny. Isn't the whole point of comic relief that you make someone laugh? I didn't laugh or giggle once. In fact, the only time I laughed was a line that was actually quite funny, was when the Doctor and Nardole were just waiting for Bill to say the TARDIS is bigger on the inside, and Nardole just said, hey, we eventually got there. I liked that line because I was thinking that too. I was like, well done, Nardole. Other than that, zilch, nada. Nardole is not funny. He is not funny, and that's the weird thing. Matt Lucas is funny.
He's a great comedic actor.
He's a great comedic actor. He's fantastic. And so this makes me think, what was his downfall in this? How he's placed in the episode? His dialogue? I don't know what to pin this on. Was it actually Matt Lucas? I don't know, because he's actually funny. But in this episode, he is painfully unfunny. And even at the end of the episode, when he says, "That's the Doctor for you," doesn't notice the tears. He flips the sonic screwdriver in the air. One, he thinks he's so freaking cool. Maybe that's what people found funny, the fact that he thinks he's cool. But Matthew also said, he thinks he knows the Doctor. He thinks he knows him. He hasn't earned the right to know the Doctor yet.
Yep.
He hasn't earned that right. We haven't seen him on screen long enough. We haven't seen him on screen long enough to actually like him. And I don't get why all these people are saying I love Nardole. It's like, what do you love about him? There's nothing to like about him. Bill is more likeable in one episode than Nardole has been in 3.
Yeah.
Sorry, I went on a bit of a rant there.
I could not have said that better. Before Nardole was properly in Series 10, we all said we'd give him a chance. And I said, I want them to give us a reason to accept him. I want us to go, okay, I understand. I understand why he's there. I accept him as a member of the TARDIS. This episode did absolutely nothing to justify that. He was pointless. He wasn't funny. Yeah. He was in the background. If anything, he probably damaged my experience in watching this episode. Because when I saw the Doctor and Bill together, I thought, wow, perfect. Yeah. He was the bit on the side. He was the baggage on the side that was getting dragged around. He popped up to say a funny line at the end of a scene. He ruined quite a few cool moments. And the image, the dialogue, everything is just wrong. And I cannot get behind him. We've gave him a chance. And maybe they will in future episodes. That's me desperately trying to be optimistic about his character. But up until now, I honestly do not understand any reason as to why he's here. He contributed absolutely nothing to the plot, to the narrative, to the episode. I never laughed once. And if this is what it's going to be like for the entire series, then Nardole's going to drag a lot of it down. Yeah.
If this is the degree to which we are seeing Nardole throughout the entire series, if he's going to be in the episodes as much as he is here, if the dialogue's going to be the same, if his part to play in each episode is going to be the same, that is an actor gone to waste. That is a character gone to waste. In fact, that is actually the costume department blazing through money. You know, just to give this guy an actual image. Just to give this guy the waistcoat and the glasses and the trousers and the funny shoes. You know, that is the costume department are burning money, giving this guy a character that trying so desperately to give this character something likeable, and he's not likeable in the slightest. And the fact that he's the first thing that we see on screen when this episode starts, it's not good that Matthew and Liv's first thing when we watched it first time was, oh God, no.
Yeah.
You know, I'm willing to give Nardole a go, but sorry, Liv, you've been waiting to say something.
I'm just going to finish because I think I know who to blame. Well, what to blame. It's not the comedic lines in this story. It's not Matt Lucas, because he is a great comedic actor, and I love him as a comedic actor. I think it's because he's been rushed and forced down our throats. They've had him in one episode, The Husband's River Song, he was in that a little bit, and he was good comic relief in that. He was forced into the Return of Dr. Mysterio, and it's like they're just throwing him in there. They're desperately trying to make us like him and accept him, which I can't, and because they're trying to force him down our throats so much, it's having the opposite effect. If they'd have given him time to establish himself as a more rounded companion, I would have accepted that he was there, and I probably would have laughed at his lines. Yeah. But while he's still there, looking silly and refusing to be a part of the story in any sort of way, I'm not going to attach myself to his character at all. Yeah. Liv, sorry, we went on a rant.
I saw it coming. From promo images to posters.
She did see it coming, like.
She did, yeah.
He looked silly there, and now he still looks silly. It really says something. As soon as he comes on screen, I groan. I just don't like his character. He's not funny. He doesn't add anything, and it really grated on me that well, so soon as Capaldi said something funny, that silly man had to jump in and ruin it.
Yeah.
He's that guy. You know what Nardole is? You know what Nardole is? Nardole is that one guy in the group that has to say something on top of something funny that someone else already said.
Yeah.
You know, he's just like desperately trying to be accepted by the rest of the group by just like trying to say something funny, but it ends up almost ruining what the other guy said.
I've already came into conclusion with Nardole. I am never, ever going to get behind him.
No.
Ever, but it's
I'm not gonna say never. I'm not gonna say never.
I just can't.
They need to do something massive in order for that to happen. I mean, the Doctor's companion is a massive role. It's a very crucial, important role. And he's not
next to Capaldi. It does not work.
He's not earned the right to be there, and that's what he needs to. Anyway, the ending when Heather is defeated. Do I say defeated? It was quite nice how her final conscious line was that she was never gonna go away from Bill.
Yeah.
And it was Bill who had to tragically say, "Go away," separate her love interest. Which you said in the preview is what you wanted.
Yeah.
You wanted that to happen, to be like a tragedy for Bill.
Yeah.
And I liked that.
Yeah.
I did, and I really
it was quite a tragic, bittersweet ending, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I really quite liked it. And like you said, I wanted this from the start, and I really, really did like that. I very much did enjoy that.
And let's finish with one guy we've not spoke about yet, and that's the 12th Doctor himself.
Yes, the 12th Doctor I actually have written down here. Spectacular return to form, as over the last 3 episodes, he has not been the Doctor that I've known or loved. And so this is a spectacular return to form, I think, to a Doctor that I can definitely get behind. I described it as a mixture of what Matthew loved in Series 8 and a mixture of what he wasn't so keen on in Series 9. A mixture of the Series 8 Rebel Time Lord and the Rocker Doctor. So you could say he's a hybrid.
Thanks for that. Ruined the whole thing.
Sorry. But yeah, I think the 12th Doctor was spectacular in this. Each bit of dialogue with Bill was just quick fire and it was brilliant. I loved every line, and the 12th Doctor, beautiful.
I think he was astonishing. I mean, Peter Capaldi in every episode he's in he's given his all.
Yeah.
You can tell he's loving it. I adore the man. I think he's fantastic. I loved him in this, and I will never come to terms with the Rocker Doctor. That is never going to happen. I will always forever prefer the Rebel. But if they're not going to get rid of either, at least they can put them together. And that's what I'm happy with. I didn't like the little electric guitar Sonic Shades thing at the start. It's like that was forced. But I did like how they put his coat and the hoodie together, because I've said that they've been a little bit indecisive with 12's character between Series 8 and Series 9. They've not known what direction to take him in. Series 8, he might have went too dark for some people. Series 9, he might have went too light. So why not put them together?
Yeah, why not?
That's the only way they're going to please a lot of people. Did you like 12 in this?
With me in 12, I just adore him all of a sudden again. I've missed him. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I have really missed him.
Yeah.
There's this week that, there's that many interviews I've watched from him, from like other YouTube channels and then these big events, and the way he talks, and there's this way that Capaldi absolutely adores the show. And then I'm thinking, please don't go. Please don't go. But in this episode, I loved him. His funny lines worked. I laughed at them.
Yeah.
And his serious lines were just absolutely fantastic. I really loved his serious lines and the TARDIS bit and that red suit.
Yes, the red velvet suit.
Always makes
was
me.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Always makes me. And I'm more happy that 12 has finally got a normal, down-to-earth companion.
Yeah,
with
definitely.
Bill. I really am.
He was the definition of cool.
Yeah.
Just cool.
I love him.
Yeah.
I really do love him.
I think the last 2 episodes, being Christmassy themed ones, have dragged him down a little bit, and I've been desperate to love him again. And I do love him again.
Yeah.
So is that everything that we've got in terms of the pilot?
So.
Or is there anything else we want to mention? I mean, the music was astonishing. The direction,
love the music.
was great.
Yeah, the music was brilliant, yeah.
Apart from the Clara nod.
There was a very slight Clara reference in there, which I didn't like. Yeah. But I did love the subtle Susan and River references in there.
That was
lovely.
That was rather beautiful.
So, have we all got our ratings ready? We don't know each other's ratings.
Nope.
So this is going to be very interesting.
I've just changed my rating last minute because I am just so up in the air with it. But I think I've got it.
Okay,
I
so
finally think I've got it.
Brief overview of the story, James, and your rating out of 10.
Well, I think that this episode was enjoyable, which is all I can really ask of an episode of Doctor Who, that I enjoy it and that I have a good time watching it. This was an absolutely astonishing and phenomenal origin story for a companion. Down-to-earth, relatable, lovable even. I wouldn't even go so low as likeable. She is a lovable character and has absolutely fantastic chemistry with the 12th Doctor. Their chemistry is just so quick-fire and it's just so electric, and I absolutely adore it. There is finally a contrast, something different between these characters, and I can't wait to see where their relationship develops over the next 11 weeks. So I absolutely can't wait for it. Although the story is very weak, I did rather enjoy the direction, the music, and the villain was rather lovely as well. In fact, I wouldn't even go so far as a villain, really. So my rating is a 7 out of 10.
Interesting. Liv?
I liked this episode, but there was no real threat to it, I thought. And Nardole, I'm never going to get behind. But I love Bill. Breath of fresh air, something new, and lovable. And Capaldi, I thought he was on top form.
Yeah.
My rating might seem harsh, but I'm going to go for a 6.
Really?
I'm going to go for a 6.
Wow, okay.
Just because of the episode on rewatch kind of drifted, and the fillers. But I'm not being negative.
No.
Nothing on Bill, but I absolutely loved her. And 12, I love them.
Yeah, I mean,
That's my rating, 6.
I'd say as an all-round Doctor Who story, it wasn't the best, but I don't think it was meant to be that.
Yeah.
It was meant to be an origin story. It was meant to be an introductory story to Bill, and that was its job, and it did that job very well. I think it was a very different introductory story. Bill is amazing. I love her so much. Her chemistry with 12, I already love.
Yeah.
The story itself was okay. I would have maybe preferred there to be a bit of a threat in there, and yes, on rewatch, the jumping from one place to another does seem a little bit of a filler. It's not as fluent, I guess. Nardole was the worst part of the episode. Really didn't like him being there. I wish I could just kind of watch it and not acknowledge that he's there. And the Daleks, I just take it with a pinch of salt, to be honest. So I also give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
That was my rating too. So.
Yeah.
Oh, mine's not too bad then, because
A good, solid introductory episode for Bill.
although this is one lower from you, so
Yeah, it's
can't
not
compare with that.
it's not low by much.
No.
No, definitely not.
But I love Bill, so
Yeah, definitely. So, what an absolutely great introduction to Doctor Who for 2017, and a great introduction to Capaldi's final series, I think. So, yes, very good. So then, guys, we hope you enjoyed our review of the pilot. We will be back on Wednesday for our preview of the second episode, Smile.
Yes, that's going to be interesting, isn't it?
It is, indeed.
That's the word I'm going to be using for that episode.
Yes.
Frank.
Frank?
Bloody Frank.
Frank?
The preview's going to consist of Liv just saying Frank.
Bloody
Cottrell.
Frank.
Oh, Frank Cottrell, boys! I was wondering what the hell you were on about for a second there.
James.
But until then, do like this video, subscribe to the Whoatics for reviews of every single Series 10 episode, and do comment in the section below your thoughts on the pilot. And also, we've got a Series 10 playlist on the channel for you to catch up on if you've missed any Series 10 content.
Indeed, yes. Doctor Who Series 10 has officially begun, and as always, the place to be for Doctor Who is the Whoatics. See you guys next time. That was a pretty kick-ass exit until Liv fucked up there.
Up you game, that's it.